Hello and welcome to another episode of Dawncast. I'm Dai Lee.
And I'm Kathy Ngo.
As you know, here at Dawncast, we bring you inspirational stories and insights from around the country and the world. So today we've got Mary Liu joining us. Mary Liu is a social entrepreneur who've been in this space for the last decade, but she has stepped into a very interesting arena or area called lingerie. Hello, Mary Liu. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi, thanks, Dave. Hi, Kathy. How are you both?
We're good.
Good.
I'm feeling a bit hot right now.
Especially with that music.
Yeah.
Because just before we started, Mary was complimenting my top, and it's animal print. And
Yeah.
you know what they say about women with animal print?
We won't go there.
Yeah. It kind of
Not here, Kathy. Not here. Maybe
Digressing.
after the show. Yeah.
after the show.
So Mary Liu is the founder of Soy and Spice, a lingerie line that is pretty new in the market. It's not there. Is it out there in the market yet, Mary Liu?
Not right now. We are in the process of establishing the business. So we do have a landing page up and running. We've got a social media handle. But besides that, we're still in the process of sort of establishing our presence at the moment. Yeah.
What made you want to start this range? What's so special about it?
So initially when I started, I just wanted to share my passion and my love for lingerie to my friends. Because when I wear it, I feel so beautiful and I feel so confident. And when I talk to my girlfriends about it, hardly any of them wear it. And, I just became very curious. And so I started doing more research and realized that there's actually a lot of Asian girls out there that either love or don't love lingerie. So the line itself has a more deeper meaning to it than just the lingerie line. And I think, for us to really fully understand how I got to where I am now, we kind of got to go back to the very beginning of my story.
Yes, go back. Go back.
Yeah, let's go way back. Yeah. So like Dai said, I've spent 10 years in the startup scene. So I started my journey when I was 19, second year of uni, I think. I grew up in Adelaide, so I started a charity with my best mate back in Adelaide, helping underprivileged children in China and Sri Lanka. So I ran that charity for about 5 years, and when I came to Sydney in 2012, we were still running the charity, but it got a little bit hard because we were in different states, so we ended up shutting it down. But when I came here to finish my final year in my bachelor's degree, I started another business helping international students find work experience. Ran that for about 2 years full time after I graduated. But when I told my mom that I was going to drop my psych career because I studied psychology.
Oh, really? I'm going to ask you to look at my son's essay because he's doing. So thank you for letting me know that. Yes.
Yeah, don't worry. We'll chat after.
Yeah.
She freaked out. She was like, "Are you crazy? Like, do you even know what you're doing?" Because I spent 4 years, studying to become a psychologist and moving to a new city to pursue my career in psychology. And so our relationship was quite rocky during those few years when I was running my own business. And after about 2 years running it full time, I started working at UNSW Founders Program, which is the startup hub on campus. So I was there for about 4 years. And my main role at UNSW was to mentor the students that came to us. So I was helping them with the launch and start and the growth of their businesses, essentially. But very soon, I realized that the number of male students that came to us was far greater than the number of female students. So I thought, this has to be changed. So I started a program called New Wave Founders, which was aimed at tackling that specific problem. So the program is a 2-week-long incubator program where we invited different speakers and mentors to come in. And within 1 year of running the program, we managed to increase the number of female participation at UNSW by 13% into entrepreneurship.
Wow.
During my time at UNSW, not only did I realize that the number of female students was less than male students, the number of Asian female students was even lesser.
In the entrepreneur space, you mean?
In the entrepreneurship space, yeah. So I started doing more research online, started talking to more people, and I came across a few articles, and I just realized that although the glass ceiling is slowly breaking now, with all the diversity, inclusion stuff that's happening, not just within the startup space, but, in corporates, there's a lot of these kind of programs that's been setting up. The bamboo ceiling is still ever so present. And, there was an article by a Sydney Morning Herald said that last year, only 3% of leadership positions were held by Asians. So when I started this lingerie line, the original reason was because I just wanted to share my love and passion for lingerie to the people around me. But then one day just clicked in my head that the reason why my friends felt like it was wrong for them to wear lingerie, or they felt like it was outside of their comfort zone to wear lingerie, the same cultural conditioning can be applied into other aspects of these women's lives. Say for instance, putting their hand up or talking up to their bosses, for example, because being raised in an Asian household, you're kind of taught to not speak up to your parents, not speak up to people in authority, which can then translate to that person having less confidence when they are speaking up to their managers, for example. So I thought, why not marry the two messages and create a line that could symbolize that. So that's why I started.
There's a lot there. So I was going to go back to when you went to Adelaide, but I'll go back there later. But I'm just talking about your journey now in terms of getting the two messages together. So you have then focused mainly on. Now I've lost my train of thought because there was you covered a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot. But I just want to touch on something that you mentioned, that your friends don't wear lingerie.
Yes, that's it.
But so what's the difference between underwear and lingerie? Because I always thought the two words were the same. Just lingerie sounds a bit more sexy or French or whatever.
Yeah, because you said that they don't wear lingerie, but I'm thinking,
what do they wear?
So when I say lingerie, I mean the more intimate, the more
beautifully designed lace.
Yeah. That kind of stuff. Not for their partners, obviously. Like I wear really pretty bralettes like that's kind of don't have any padding, so like. Can I say the word nipple? I don't know. Like so, my nipples kind of
tits.
So that's kind of not covered kind of thing. Like I wear that underneath like a really nice blouse, for example, on like a really summery day. It makes me feel good. Like so, I think that there is kind of a fine line between your everyday wear, so kind of your stuff that you wear underneath your work clothes, for example, versus those that are a little bit more kind of intimate.
And sensual, kind of pretty sensual, delicate. Is that it?
Yeah.
That's more lingerie, isn't it? It's that kind of the delicacy, the refinedness of the design, the material used, and a lot of the times lingeries are
silk or something. What is it made of?
Lace, silk,
print,
animal print.
Animal print. That's right.
So, but obviously, as you were referring to when you. What Kathy picked up when you mentioned that your friends don't wear lingerie, you meant that they don't wear the nicely designed, beautifully crafted, intimate, sensual pieces. But they do wear, as Kathy would say, she has gone to Kmart and buy her bras and undies from there.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a bra today.
Don't
look.
She's wearing a sports thing.
I'm wearing one of those daggy singlet tops with the inbuilt. It's really daggy.
Yeah, so there you go. But let's go back to when you said you grew up in Adelaide. So your parents migrated here to Australia and migrated to Adelaide?
Yeah, that's right. So I
How old were you when
my mum?
Yeah, how old were you when you arrived?
When I was about 8.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So I spent most of my childhood in Adelaide, and came here when I was around 21. Came to Sydney when I was around 21. But I was raised by a single mum. My mum and my dad got a divorce when I was around 6, and my mum remarried my stepdad, who was living in Australia already. So I have a stepbrother as well, and we came here because they got married essentially.
Well, I was raised by a single mum, so I came in here around the same age as you as well,
right?
And so we got similar background there. So you said you worked on a not-for-profit for 4 years in Adelaide?
5
For
years.
5 years. What was that focusing on?
So we were helping underprivileged children in China and Sri Lanka. So we were running, donation events, for example, and people come and the proceeds will either go to an institution like an orphanage directly or go to a child in need. So we were looking at underprivileged children in China and Sri Lanka. So I would actually sometimes go back and purchase the school supplies, for example, and actually go to the orphanage and give them the school supplies and sort of just see how happy the kids are when something happens to them like this, because they've been through so much and they're still so young. And for something that's might not be a big thing, but it's something that could just brighten up their day or even brighten up their month. Yeah.
Mm. So what got you into that space? What got you involved in raising funds and working, for a not-for-profit to help those kids disadvantaged in China and in Sri Lanka?
Because I feel like I was privileged enough to come to a place where I had so much more, and I just wanted to give back. And I've always have a soft spot for people that's in need. Maybe because I didn't grow up in a very, I guess, supportive family environment. My dad was actually physically abusive to me and my mum. So I grew up, witnessing a lot of very horrible things happen. And it kind of just made me realize that everyone has their own, issues. Everyone has their own problems. If I can do a little to change someone's life, then I should. So that's why I started the charity.
And then you went from then, I mean, it's when you said that, I just thought to myself, it's amazing how I think people from a disadvantaged background like yourself, and when you kind of start to rebuild yourself, you always find a way or want to look at ways to give back, isn't it? Wanted to make a difference, trying to impact the world.
That's right. Yeah.
So then just going into that for lingerie, and I can sense that you're trying to help empower women, particularly with an Asian Oriental background, to feel sexier. So how are you going to do that?
So with the design of our products, I'm going to be integrating Asian influences in the actual designs itself. Right now, we're just purchasing of existing products of Alibaba, for example, to just test out the market, test out the need for it. But eventually, when I start designing my own line, which I've already started doing, it's going to take me a while to actually learn the trade myself, because I'm not a designer, but I'm taking it step by step. I'm hoping to incorporate Asian influences in the design, so it would accentuate the identity with our customers more.
Do we qualify as influencers?
Yeah,
of course.
But you're going from working in a not-for-profit, helping disadvantaged kids and young people. How did you go from that to lingerie? Like when was that decision made to move from that space into lingerie? Because it's completely two different sectors, if I can put it that way, isn't it?
But the essence is to help people, right? But
the essence is the same. I think that transition happened when I was at UNSW, when I realized that the number of female students that came to us was very, very small compared to the number of male students. And within that proportion of female students that came to us, the number of Asian female students was even lesser. And I'm probably one of the only entrepreneur within my group of friends, my Asian female group of friends. That's my kind of close friends, but I've got my network of entrepreneur friends that I kind of network with as well on the side. But with my personal friends, I'm probably the only one. And I just want to be able to show them that it's okay. Like, you can take the step, you can challenge yourself, and you shouldn't be scared. And I want to also give my daughter, my future daughter, and my future daughter's daughter that same opportunity, and let them see that it's okay. You can do this. There's nothing to be scared of. Yeah.
I mean, I see myself as a culturepreneur, and as you talk about entrepreneur, you describe yourself as a social entrepreneur. can you tell us, so that maybe the audience, because people can say, oh God, people are just using that terminology so easily now. But what does it mean to be one? For me, it means you trying to drive an idea and build a business with no money, really. And try to build from the, I mean, you're an entrepreneur too, setting up your keynote-worthy business. What do you think? How do we see entrepreneur or social entrepreneur, or for me, a culturepreneur?
For me, I see it as, I see what you mean by putting a branding on entrepreneurship, because you can, the essence of it is pretty much the same, but I don't know, it's a little bit of marketing from my perspective. But at the core of every entrepreneurship, you should be helping someone, should be helping to solve a need, a problem, but then just some businesses just do it better than others, I think. What's your view, Mary?
Yeah.
My view, entrepreneurship itself, I think, is someone wanting to change the world for a better place. But to be an entrepreneur, you have to have the drive to push through whatever boundaries that lies ahead of you. Because there's going to be so many different challenges you never expect ever to just pop up out of nowhere, and you just have to keep going. Like, I feel like the motivation behind why you're doing it overrides everything else. Yeah.
So what has that journey been like for you when you made the decision to set up your lingerie line, which is called Soy and Spice? Why do you call it Soy and Spice? I mean, I think I know why, because you might like soy sauce
Everything's so nice.
and spices.
Yes, that. But I'll answer your question first in terms of my journey. It's been such an rewarding process. I don't think I would be anywhere near as confident, anywhere near as, happy if I were to do something else. I just feel like entrepreneurship is in my blood. And that process itself hasn't been the most easiest thing that I've ever done. Like, it's probably the hardest thing I've ever done, if anything. But I think it's definitely worth it. Like, if you have an idea, just go for it. Like, what if you fails? That's okay. Like, just pick it up and pick yourself up and try again. You just got to keep going. And so, and to answer your second question, why Soy and Spice? I thought about this long and hard. Actually, I came up with a whole list of names. I was just like, thinking about it. I'm like, God damn it. It took me like around, I don't know, like a couple of months at least to actually settle on Soy and Spice. And the reason is because if you open up any Asian household's kitchen, soy and spice are the two things that you'll see pretty much in every Asian household's kitchen. So I want my line of lingerie to be a staple in every customer's, every person that comes across our line's wardrobe. And also Soy and Spice, you can play around with it quite well. Like, so with soy, I was thinking more of the day-to-day wear, the stuff that Kathy was talking about, whereas the spice, we can talk more about, the more intimate stuff. So we're launching with the more spicy line and then go into the more soy line later. Yeah.
Maybe I'm just hungry, but I was thinking about food just then. Because, you were talking about kitchen and everything. So would you ever make edible underwear?
Maybe. You might be our first customer.
In terms of the Soy and Spice, you were also researching the stories or the women behind for you to come up with the brand. What have you found in your research in speaking to a lot of women, around the word lingerie or around the concept of wearing lingerie?
So I can give you an example, actually. This might be a good one. So I've written a blog which I released, I think, last week. So I interviewed 3 Asian women. 2 grew up in Indonesia and 1 grew up in the States. And they don't see themselves, when they were growing up, they were never considered beautiful because they weren't, our slim, straight hair girls that we normally consider as pretty. So they all been through the same process of, constant, criticism from their family, from their schools, from their friends. And, it just got to a point where they were just so upset with how they looked. One of the girls actually said that a couple of her friends chemically whitened their skin because their skin complex is quite dark as well, to look whiter. So it is just not a very nice, I guess, feeling to be growing up feeling like that, right? And for them to change that, I guess, idea of what they think is beautiful, and for them to be able to wear lingerie to showcase that their body is still beautiful, is something I think we should celebrate. So I guess the reason why I'm kind of mentioning this story is because I feel like a lot of the standards that we normally set for how an Asian is supposed to look is slowly changing. And so with that, new kind of standards will form and new kind of beauty ideas will form from that. And that's what I found the most mind-blowing when I was talking to these girls. I realized that, we although that standard is still there, but there's a lot of things happening beneath that I'm slowly finding out. And with this line, I'm hoping to bring that awareness to it as well, that you can be whoever you want to be. You can wear whatever you want to wear.
So in speaking with them, did you get a sense that they were prepared to wear lingerie and the way that you did you give them that this is my line of lingerie, would you be wearing them? Was that the kind of questions that you asked them?
I didn't ask them directly like that. So the reason why I was speaking to them is to understand about their stories, about how they were raised, what kind of impact that had on them growing up. And as a result of this kind of video entry contest that I held, each of them got a set of lingerie. So two of them have never worn lingerie before. So they were open enough to try this out, which is just amazing. Yeah.
I think the problem is also the lingerie models are all the same. For example, Victoria's Secret, a classic example. They think that they embody diversity, but I don't think so. What they embody is that you should be thin and model-like and not eat at all and that kind of stuff. And lack of Asian model as well. Maybe just one token one.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you're right. Like, I remember growing up, being sexy is seen as slutty. Like, you don't want to attract the male gaze or attention because you should be
especially if you're Catholics.
Yeah, I grew up in a Catholic family, and
wow,
it's
both of you.
Sinner.
Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
So I wasn't allowed a boyfriend or relationships until I was in my early 20s, and very conservative, and I think that's the major, I guess, hurdle.
Well, in terms of, as you said, the models, because what we often see, just going back to what you said, Mary Liu, that what you heard from these young women is that while there's a standard sense of what beauty looks like, it's going to be 1.8 meters tall and voluptuous and
big breasts.
Yeah, big breasts and white skin. I mean, they got chemically whitened. That is such a. I mean, I know that in the Vietnamese community, they sometimes do that too. They
still do that.
Look at me.
Bleaching.
I'm actually considered black or dark within my own community. So it's really challenging because, I mean, she's fair compared, look you're fair. Look, see? Yeah. My sister is fair and I'm, between my skin and her, she's literally like white like Kathy and I'm dark. And so
yin yang.
That's right.
And so I think, how do we, for young women like those girls that you spoke to in Indonesia, and where was that? The other one was in.
She grew up in America, but her family was Cambodian. Yeah. Yeah.
So we grow up watching what we see on our screen is the typical what beauty should look like. So we go back and we think, well, we don't look like that. Let's get our nose done. Let's get our breasts and everything. So it's going to take a long time for us to shift. Do you think to shift that image of what beauty looks like?
But I think you can
Yeah.
help Mary, like champion this, which I see that you're already doing, like by having different influencers, different models, showing scars, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to take a while for things to change. Like everything takes time. But I think if we all do our little bit, even if we just spread this message, we would be able to fast track that.
Can you promise that you're going to have models that look normal modeling your lingerie? I mean, sure, you need to do a bit of photoshopping.
But what's normal?
Well, not normal like, you and I.
I don't think I'm normal.
Mary Liu, you're normal,
Am I
because
normal? I don't think I'm normal.
okay, so we're not, none of us are normal.
I don't want to be normal.
Okay, none of us are normal. So what's the terminology we should use then?
Well, just different people, different faces.
Yes, diverse faces. That's what we're about.
Different types of Asian, because there's a South Asian as well. Biracial, different body shapes, pear shape,
different heights.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually compiling a series of videos that these girls have sent me, and I'm going to feature that on my website. That's a very short, kind of condensed version of what I've been talking about, with a couple of other girls that's also sent through a video. But yeah, 100%, I'm all about inclusion, all about diversity. Like I really loved Dove. You guys know the soap Dove? Yeah, they did a very, very successful campaign like years ago.
Yep.
That shine light on how the media industry is, just portraying what beauty looks like in a completely unrealistic way. And that campaign just changed the whole industry completely. And I want to do that for our community as well. Yeah.
That'll be fantastic. Well, so what's your where to now for Soy and Spice? At what stage are you in terms of your development? So
I just took my second photo shoot on Sunday. So that's going to get released on our Instagram account, soy_spice_lingerie, next week. And we're looking at, we're looking at taking more photos for the website so we can start actually getting some sales to come through. Yeah. My main focus right now is trying to do more research on the site, but start getting people to, purchase our lingerie.
So what what kind of message would you like to send to our audience, in terms of any advice, any tips, any words of wisdoms that you'd like to part?
Yeah, why not? I think just go for it. If you have any kind of idea, if you want to just do something that's outside of your comfort zone, don't be scared. Just give it a go. There's really nothing stopping you besides yourself. And even if you fail, like I said before, it's okay. Like there's nothing to be scared of. You can try something completely new again. So just go for it.
Yeah, I do say to people often, if you want to, do it, fail fast, fail quickly so that you can get up.
That's right. Yeah.
Good
Great
advice.
message.
Yeah.
Great message.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mary Liu, and we really wish you great success with Soy and Spice. And we want to see that diverse and inclusive brand and faces on your product line there. So we're looking forward to seeing that. But thank you for giving us your time and sharing your story and journey with us.
Thank you so much. See you later, Di and Kathy. Bye.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice.
Bye.
Bye. So that's all for us on Dawncast. So I'm Di Lee.
And I'm Kathy Ngo.
And make sure that you subscribe to our channel, Dawncast, by clicking the link or the bell here so that you can get notified if you want to hear more stories and journeys like Mary Liu. So see you next time.
See you.
Bye. This is all going on in the video.